What is your mission here in Denmark?
Basically, I first of all thank you for asking this question and giving us opportunity to explain and elaborate the purpose of coming here. And as you have mentioned, the purpose of our mission or organizing today's camp or workshop where the youth from different communities will be attending this session and will be elaborating the concept which has been explicitly mentioned by Dr. Qadri in his legal verdict or fatwa. And so we will be elaborating different context and different perspective of this fatwa, why it was written, in what context it was written, and what was the what is the benefit we can get out of that fatwa by propagating the message, by convening and organizing different workshops, different sessions, conferences, in order to put across the moderate perspective of Islam and rebut in all manifestation the extremist perspectives of Islamists and their radical approach and terrorism and suicide bombing. That act has no place within the teaching of Islam, or and they people who believe in the act of terrorism or extremism and radicalism. So the fatwa says that they have nothing to do with Islam, and basically they are out of ambit of Islam.
So what is your message, your main message?
My message is we should not consider this book, which is here. I take the opportunity to show this book to the audience, that we should not take this as a fatwa or legal edict or a legal statement by any Muslim cleric or a scholar or Shaykhul Islam. We should actually take it as a detailed book, which is to be included by all the institutions, all the academic circles, professors, and those who are working for counter-terrorism. Apart from the religion of Islam, they belong to any religion, they belong to any community, any circle, any academic background. So they should consider it as a philosophical and academic approach towards the moderate approach of Islam. So it elaborates basically, and it highlights those basically people who have been giving a bad name to Islam, those who have given a extremist approach to Islam and bracketed Islam with terrorism, extremism, and radicalism. So here my purpose is to organize this workshop to educate the youngsters that here is the approach of Islam in the light of Quran, in the light of Hadith, in the light of prophetic traditions. This is another perspective of Islam. On the basis of the logic of Islam, we are elaborating, we are propagating, and we are providing them chance to think about the moderate and a balanced approach of Islam, so that they don't get themselves bracketed or annexed with those who are persuading them towards extremism, radicalism, and suicide bombing, and in order to save their life, in order to save their approach, and give them another moderate perspective to their life, to their thoughts, to their perspectives, and make them a balanced Muslim or a person or a part of a society or a part of community.
The people who are who can be radicalized, the young people who could be in danger of being radicalized, they won't come to this mosque.
Yeah.
They will go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So how do you think you can reach those people?
Yeah. So it's a good question. Well, I would answer this question. I'll come back to the same, basically I was elaborating before. Basically the first stage is they start from the narrow approach towards Quran, Hadith, interpretation of the prophetic traditions and the lifetime examples of the Prophet, but wrongly perceived, wrongly interpreted, and wrongly conveyed. So what happened is some of the people, those scholars, those experts who are actually working for counter-terrorism, you have one department of counter-terrorism in Denmark. There's one in Norway. It is developed in all around the world. Every government nowadays they are developing and they are supporting this department to research on the issues why this negative and extreme approach is existing in the society in today's time. But those people have their some think tank and some of their groups. They think that non-violent extremism has nothing to do with the extremism, with the terrorism. But my eminent father, Shaykhul Islam, says that no, this is the first stage which leads towards extremism. Extremism leads towards radicalism. Radicalism leads towards extremist approach, which converts into a practical approach. And then it converts into suicide bombing and terrorism, and then they start committing terrorism in order to achieve their vested interest.
But how would you reach young people who doesn't even come to this mosque?
Yeah.
How would you
This is the answer is today's workshop. Why I have come all the way from London, from Canada, from Pakistan. We have been organizing all these conferences. We have been organizing all these workshops. We've been going to their universities. We have been conducting lectures in their lecture halls and inviting everybody there. We are not working only for the Muslim community. No, we are inviting everybody. Come and listen to this approach. Here is the fatwa. Hear what he said. And this is the approach. Come up with the critics and bring it in front of us. Let us answer and rebut those critics. So if our approach will appeal you, just take this approach. If it doesn't, so carry on. What happens is, if you leave the innocent person or a student at a very beginning, at the beginning, where the negativity starts, where the narrowness starts, so you have to approach the youngsters at a very beginning or in the beginning of his approach, and then you have to educate him. So you have to educate him with a different approach, and you have to facilitate him with a different perspective. And you have to let him know that here is the evidence which is being given by those extremists. But here is the evidence which is being given by Quran. This is the evidence given by the Prophet of Islam. This is what the scholars have been saying. And this fatwa has mentioned all the narrations, all the quotations, has come up with the concrete evidences in the light of history, in the historical perspective has been covered, the Quranic perspective has been covered. The prophetic traditions has been covered. The saying and quotations of all the scholarly people has been covered, and his own approach and interpretation of Islam has also been covered. So once a concrete and comprehensive book is in front of them, so every logical person or a student or a youngster, so when he will pay some attention towards the balanced approach, we hope that we'll win this game, and the victory is for those who keep on making effort for the balanced approach, moderate approach, peaceful approach. We believe in the peace of the world. We believe in the love, peace and harmony and compassion. We don't believe in hatred. Okay. We don't believe in narrowness. Okay. We don't believe in fighting. We don't believe in in bloodshed and killing of unlawful Muslim or non-Muslim in any society.
Okay. Your father has made a fatwa against terror, but there are many Islamic extremists out there. Why do you think that one book can change that?
Because this book is not only a book. It is a comprehensive perspective with the Quranic perspective in the light of Hadith, in the light of history, in the light of the quotation of the renowned scholars of Islam, and it is giving another moderate, balanced perspective about Islam and about the concept of terrorism, extremism, radicalism, and those people and those who have the tendency and potential to become radicalist. So this book is making another effort to stop them from becoming radicalist, extremist, and finally terrorist. and giving them a chance to come and see a balanced approach in a light of Quran and Hadith and prophetic traditions.
Your book, your father's book, does not have an appeal to those young people that sympathizes with terrorism. So concretely and specifically, how would you reach people who doesn't even come to your mosque?
Basically, it's a true effort. This is a sincere effort, which has been made by my father in the light of the book on fatwa he's written. We are making an effort, he's made an effort, but I don't completely agree with this point, because we have seen people by organizing the conferences of peace conferences where 15 to 20 to 25,000 youngsters have attended in UK. Last year in Wembley Arena conference, where hundreds of people, they have listened to this viewpoint, they changed their viewpoint, they wrote back to us, they have been contacting us, they have been thanking to my father and saying that thanks to you, thanks to God, that we have been provided with another chance to listen to another moderate perspective of Islam. We were about to be there, we were about to commit this, we were about to be radicalist, but thanks to this book which has changed our life. So when we come across this kind of positive approach, that it is actually making a difference in the society. So we are with the hope that with this consistency, with organizing different workshops and different sessions and seminars, so one day success would be for the people having moderate approach.
Thank you. What is the main message in the book and that you come with here today?
The main message is that the killing of any innocent person in any society is declared unlawful, and Islam explicitly prohibits those who believe, those who perform the act of killing. This is a mischief. The bloodshed is not allowed by Islam, and killing of a non-innocent people is not allowed by Islam. So those who believe in this philosophy, that killing them is a lawful act, they are considered to be extremists, radicalist in the light of fatwa of Shaykhul Islam.
Perfect. What is it that you hope that this message that there is in the book will achieve here in Denmark? I mean, I'm curious because we are a democratic society.
Yeah.
Why do you think that we have a need for a fatwa against terrorism? Isn't it just obvious that terrorism is a really bad idea? It's
a good question. I would say that if we, for instance, we take it that it has, its book is not only for the Muslims. This is a service which is being rendered by the writer of this book towards the humanity, towards creating a balanced approach in the mind, in the thought, or in the understanding process of the human being, whatever the society they are, wherever they live, or whatever the background they have. Apart from that, they should have another moderate perspective about what's happening in our today's society. People are killing each other. They're creating mischief. They're troubling the life of innocent people. They're killing them in their in the place of worships, in their market, in their homes.
But these things doesn't happen in Denmark. Why is it that you specifically think that there is a need for a message like that in Denmark?
Basically, it is nothing to do with the Denmark, at large. It is for the public. It is for the youngsters. It is for the innocent mind. It is for the academicians. It is for every single person or part of a society. The reason why I am elaborating this, because the extremist, the radicalist, they have been using all the forums. They have been through internet, through different literature, through their speeches, through their different blogs on internet, the internet pages. They have been portraying a wrong picture, a narrow-minded picture about Islam. They have been persuading them, with their philosophy, that it is lawful for them to fight for or fight against democracy.
So this narrow-minded interpretation does exist
in the society, through different websites, through different channels, through different literatures, and it is being spreaded all around the world. Wherever you go, to the universities, to academic circles, so they ask you a question, so killing a non-Muslim in a non-Muslim state, is it lawful in the light of Islam? So we have to rebut it, and we have to come up with the right approach and a balanced approach about Islam. What is the actual message of peace, love and harmony and compassion and mutual understanding and cooperation has been elaborated, explicitly implemented, and those principles which were actually set by the Prophet of Islam in his lifetime, are they in the favor of extremism or they are against extremism? They are supporting the extremism or they are negating the extremism. So his life or his role model is actually in the favor of extremist approach, the extremist tendencies, or a terroristic approach, or his teaching is against the bloodshed, is against the aggression, against the oppression, against the tyranny and bloodshed and human killing. Okay. So he was made a prophet of mercy, and his role and his mission was to spread a mercy, peace and compassion on the face of earth, regardless to the people's religion, faith, background, tribes and anything.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, your father has made a 600-page book with a fatwa against terror, but there are so many Islamic extremists. Do you really think that one book can change that?
What I would say is that we divide the approach towards terrorism into two basic points, two basic stages. First stage is non-violent extremism, and the second stage is violent extremism. Non-violent extremism is the first stage to the cancer. We call extremism or radicalism or terrorism as the last stage of the cancer, and the beginning starts from the literature, from the ideology, from the philosophy, through literature, through teaching, through misinterpretation of the verses, through misconception which has been created by those people, those who have been politically utilizing the innocent people by inculcating the wrong approach from Islam, interpreting the verses wrongly to them, and the hadith and the prophetic tradition wrongly to them, and persuading them that whatever they think is wrong, whatever we think is right. Yeah. What we do is we bring another perspective to them and teach them in their sessions, workshops, colleges, universities, and provide them another perspective of Islam. Everybody has to think with the logical approach, whatever is appealable to him in the light of the strong evidences. So this fatwa is actually providing them strong evidences in the light of Quran and the prophetic traditions, and providing them with a different perspective to rebut the negative approach which has been propagated and highlighted by those negative people. So,
but critics say that the people who sympathize with terrorism, they don't listen to that book anyways. So why is it you think that you can change those people?
Yeah. Basically, there's always a negative approach, there's always critics, and there's always a positive approach, and there is always, in the same society, you find someone who rebuts it.
But
if you find
to that criticism?
I'm saying that we don't mind, people have a right, it's a democratic society, let them come up with their criticism, but what I would say is, I would invite them to come, and we should have one session with them. And those having criticism, why not we discuss those criticism in the light of the solid and concrete evidences? If we win the case, if we can advocate it in a positive manner, and we can win the case, this is the victory of a right approach, or a balanced approach, or a moderate approach, or a peaceful approach. If we cannot make it, then it means that the fatwa is not useful for the society.